Uh, as we continue this enriching session on adoption of innovation in sustainable development, it is now my pleasure to invite our next esteemed resource person, Dr. Jayanta Das. Sir, are you there?
Yes,
Okay. So, Dr. Das, very welcome to our this session. Uh, Dr. Das will shed light on geospatial innovation and disaster risk reduction towards Viksit Bharat. Sir, is that the topic? Am I right?
yes, it is my topic.
Okay.
Shall I start?
Yes, sir, you can start.
So, good morning, everyone. My name is Dr.JayantaDas. I'm Assistant Professor of Department of Geography, Rampurhat College. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizer for today multidisciplinary international seminar on adaptation of innovation and sustainable development OA to Viksit Bharat at the rate of 2047 for inviting me. My today's topic is geospatial innovation and disaster risk reduction toward Viksit Bharat. The main aim of this lecture is to explore how geospatial technique assess the disaster risks and to mitigate. I'll take two case studies, one flood susceptibility risk donations in Uttar Dinajpur district of West Bengal and another landslide susceptibility donation in Sikkim. So first of all, my first aspect, flood risk donation in Uttar Dinajpur district of West Bengal. Globally, flood contribute 40% of all socioeconomic damage caused by natural disaster. That's more than hurricane and earthquake combined. And if you think the burden falls on South and Southeast Asia because of high population density, poor infrastructure, and climate variability. Yet a single flood can erase decade of development gain overnight. If you zoom here in India, India has 40 million hectares flood-prone area, an area larger than Germany, and every year 8 million hectares are inundated, destroying our lives, agriculture, and GDP growth. And coming to the West Bengal, in West Bengal, about 42.55% landmass are susceptible to flood. And my focus district like Uttar Dinajpur, here this area face annual cycle of destruction, damaging homes, road, and crops. If you see here, this is Uttar Dinajpur district of West Bengal. And this district face regular basis flood inundation. And these numbers are not just statistics; these are the call of action. And obviously, in the next section, I'll share how geospatial innovation can mitigate the this flood and landslide conditions. And Uttar Dinajpur district, specially located here, and this is 25 degree 11 minute north to 26 degree 49 north, and 87 degree 49 minute east to 90 degree east. So it's basically a flat region, and here major river Mahananda, Kulik, Tangam, Simoti, Nagor, Gamari, and rainfall ranges between 1169 millimeter to 786 millimeter. And main issue here, the number of population here, population density is very high, 958% square kilometers, which make these districts more vulnerable to flood. And before we dive into the finding, I want to highlight some critical resources that can help in disaster risk management. Basically, I have used these sources data. These are open source data. Anybody can download this data. I have used here Astra-Team, Lancet 8. These are available in Earth Explorer website, and direct rainfall data from IMD Pune, and then lithology, digital literature data downloaded from Food Coast JSI. And I have prepared 12 parameter thematic layer for flood susceptibility condition, and 9 parameter, basically population based parameter downloaded from Census of India and district uh, disaster management plan and for flood vulnerability zonation. Here, if you see, this is the methodological flowchart. So I have considered 9 parameters, as I mentioned, 12 parameter for flood susceptibility zonation. Here, the elevation, slope, topographic wetness index, topographic position index, normalized difference vegetation index, modified normalized difference water index, drainage density, distance to river, stream power index, sediment transfer index, modified Fourier index, lithology. I have used ArcGIS software for preparing this model, and here the flood vulnerability parameter I have considered 9 parameters by literature review, like distribution of population, population density, LLC, distance to flood shelter, distance to hospital, distance to road density, illiteracy rate, employment rate. And after preparing this parameter, I did classify into 5 groups according to their flood level, and then I check the multi-community issues, and then I have calculated the HP for parameter and for sub-parameter. Then normalize this raster data based on the HP method, then prepare flood susceptibility resolution using the weighted sum technique, and also for flood susceptibility resolution and flood vulnerability resolution. Finally, I have integrated both flood susceptibility resolution and flood vulnerability resolution for preparing the flood risk resolution. Then I check that stereo ranking method, ASP method is robustness of ASP method. Then I use single parameter sensitivity, map removal sensitivity analysis to check the parameter optimization. And then for model validation, I have used ROC curve and error matrix. I'll discuss it later. So these are the parameters for class susceptibility resolution. And as I mentioned, I checked the colony statistics. I found that tolerance limit more than zero point 0.1. So we can consider all the parameter and VIF variance inflation factor. These are the less than 10. So I consider all 12 parameters for preparing the final flood susceptibility map. And these are the intensity scale I have used. Set is 9-point intensity scale. Based on this intensity scale, I have prepared the pairwise comparison matrix, and then I calculate the ASP weightage for parameter and ASP weightage for sub-parameter. So first of all, we have to do here. I have reclassified all these factors like elevation into 5 groups. Then I check the flood relation between flood and this particular parameter. Like in case of elevation in a low area, obviously flood will be high. So that's why I have considered it very high, and for a higher area, very low. This way, because this is a knowledge-based system, so we have to assign the value. So here the very high to very low. Based on this, I have calculated the ASP rating. All the 12 parameters I have calculated, and then I check the lambda max. It is 13.261 and consistency ratio 0.115 and consistency ratio 0.07. As we know, if consistency ratio less than 10, then we can consider here consistency ratio 7. So we can say that our decision is consistent. So we can go with this model. Here the flood vulnerability parameter I have prepared 9 parameters. Actually, initially I have considered more than 9 parameters, and I found that if you check this one, here the female population, and I found the tolerance limit is 0.01. This is less than zero point 0.1, and here we 91.15. This is more than 10. So I removed this parameter for final model. So here the statistics about the ASP calculation of flood vulnerability. I have calculated for all 9 parameters for ASP08, and this is the sub parameter OITs. Similarly, for as example, for total population, here population is less, so flood level is very low. Flood vulnerability level very low, and where the higher population, flood vulnerability is very high. So based on this, I have prepared this flood susceptibility zonation. Here, this color shows the very high, basically southern part of Uttar Dinajpur districts, and here flood susceptibility zonation, vulnerability zonation, and this is the final map. I integrate these two models for flood resolution. If we see the statistics, very high flood susceptibility zonation here falls in 7.57%, then flood vulnerability zonation 6.18%, and final 4.59%. And high flood susceptibility zonations falls in 18.35%, then 16.42 for flood vulnerability and flood risks 15.62, and medium 27.22, then 27.08 and 27.4. So we should focus on this particular zone medium to very high, because these are the flood affected region. So for mitigating purpose, we have to focus this particular area. Then I check the robustness of this set is rank. This is the direct rank, and this is the empirical weightage of ASP. Then I check the steel oil ranking method, and I have used two component of steel oil method. One is rank sum, and another is rank reciprocal. So I have found that in case of ASP, elevation contribute the highest influence. It is 2.27, then slope 0.19. In case of ransom, it is also similar, quite similar, because here 0.13, 0.112, 0.11. Ranking is quite similar, but in case of reciprocal, it is mostly similar. If you see here, the elevation 0.27, by rank reciprocal, it is 0.29, or 0.19, it is 0.15. So we can say that yes, our decision is consistent. So we can confirm the robustness of SP model for flat surface resolution in this particular area. So this is after preparing this, I have calculated effective weight of each parameter, 12 parameter of flat susceptibility resolution and 9 parameter for flat vulnerability resolution. I have used this method for preparing this effective weightage of elevation. If you see this table, you can see that this is empirical weight calculated by ASP. And here you can see the mean weight of elevation 26.47, and slope it is 30.65. So in our area, the slope is most important than elevation for flat susceptibility zonation. Here you can see distance from river, it is 10.12% important. But in case of little, it is only 1.81% important. So we can remove this parameter because it is not important parameter. Also for topographic position index, it is 1.86. So we can remove this parameter and we can remodel again for final flat sustainability solution. So here the effective weight for flat vulnerability parameter for 9 parameter. If you see the statistics, we got the similar data here. LOLC, it has highest influence at 21.56%. Okay, in some cases it is 53.70, in some cases it is 6.5, but in mean value 21.56. So this is most important parameter. Then population density, then total population, then road density. So here the sensitivity analysis for flood susceptibility resolution, I have used single parameter sensitivity analysis for flood resolution. You can see this area here very very low sensitivity to flood according to elevation. In case of slope, here topical weightage index. Actually, I have prepared the sensitivity analysis for flood vulnerability parameter, and here I have used map removal technique. That's mean I have removed one by one map. I have 12 parameter. I have removed one parameter, and model without this. Suppose in this case FSZ remove elevation. So I have considered 11 parameter for preparing this model. And if you see, I have used this formula. So if you see here the statistics, when I remove elevation, I found to very low variation 28.57. That's been very low increase, and low decrease by 13.29, medium decrease by 3.86, high decrease by 8.05, and again very high increase by 14.01. So this is very sensitive parameter. We cannot remove this parameter. You can see in case of slope, in case of TWI, all are important parameter. But in TPI, when I remove this parameter and again remodel with other parameter, and I found that very low, quite bit similar, all are quite bit similar. So this is not an important parameter for flat modeling in Uttar Dinajpur district. So we can remove this. In case of MFI also, in case of STI also. So this we can find the most important parameter, and we should remodel again like this, and we can consider these are the final model for flat susceptible resolution in this particular area. So this is the sensitivity analysis for flat vulnerability resolution using the single uh, map removal technique. I remove one by one and prepare this, and all parameter are important parameter. We cannot remove any parameter for preparing our final map. Right. So here the model validation. First of all, I reclassify this final model into various techniques like natural break, geometric interval, quantile, and equal interval. And I have found that geometric interval and natural break are the most valuable method, and we should consider natural break or geometric interval for flat polarity generation. And according to accuracy, I got 72.8% accuracy. It is in acceptable, so we can go with the ASP model for flat susceptibility junction in this particular area. Then I calculated the error matrix, that's mean absolute error. I got value 0.15, mean square error 0.16, and root mean square error 0.21. So it all are considerable level. So we can go with this model. So this is a summary of my finding. This study shows 27% area, shows the moderate risks, 15.62% high risks, 4.59 very high risk. So we have to focus this particular area for mitigation purpose. And very high and very high risks basically considered Goalpukot 2, Raigans, Korondigi, Itaha block. And in case of parameter, as I mentioned, in elevation has highest influence in case of empirical weight, but slope it is highest influence in case of effective weight. So slope, elevation, drainage density, distance river, these are the most critical factor for flood susceptibility resolution. But for flood vulnerability resolution, population distribution, population density, LLC, proximity to hospital, flood shelter, we should be considered for preparing the flood vulnerability map. Okay, and we got the accuracy 72.8%, so it is an acceptable rate. And sensitivity analysis, still oil ranking method, single parameter, or map removal sensitivity analysis confirm the robustness of ASP method and the ranking. And also for flood vulnerability, we removed the female population, child under 6 years, because these are the highly correlated variables. So we remove for biasness. And basically, we have to focus on low elevation area, high topographic awareness index, then low NDVI, high drainage density. These are the strongly associated with the flood susceptibility area. So we have to focus this area. And another important part, urban and agriculture area with high population density, limited access to flood shelter are most vulnerable. So we have to build uh, uh, more flood shelter in this particular area for mitigating the flood in Uttar Dinajpur district. So my next concern is landslide susceptibility in Sikkim. So Sikkim is one of the most landslide susceptibility prone state in our India. And if you see the statistics in 1968 alone, more than 33,000 people are killed by landslide. So this is most landslide prone and also earthquake prone region. So we have to focus this region, and we have to prepare our susceptibility zone. As per the susceptibility zone, we can uh, plan our mitigation. And if you see here the red color, it shows the landslide prone area, and non-landslide prone. I have generated this non-landslide prone using the random sampling. Right, these are the data set I have used for preparing the model. Like I have used here DEM, Aster DEM, 30-meter resolution, Landsat 8, then lithosis geomorphism from glucose, then OS open state map, then rainfall data, rainfall data, and LLC. This is the open source LLC map we have downloaded, not prepared. Right, these are the methodological framework. First of all, I have prepared all the parameters. Initially, I have considered 18 parameters for preparing this model, but after using the both algorithm, correlation, VIF, and tolerance, I have removed the 5 parameters, and these are the final selected parameter for performing the machine learning based model. And I have collected more than 1,000 landside location from Google CSI, but I plot in Google Earth Pro, and I have found that some data are not validated. After validating the data, I have considered 728 landside location and divided into two groups, training 70% and testing 30%. And using this 30-70% data, I have run this four model, one MLP, KRN, GPM, and BT. I have prepared four lenses such as map, and again model purpose used by confusion matrix, statistical significance, AOC, ROC. I will discuss later. So these are the final parameter, 13 parameter I have considered based on the colority test, tolerance, and VIF. And here I have prepared the correlation matrix, and this color, this blue color shows the high correlation matrix. So I have removed those are highly correlated parameter, and these are the both the model features, importance of features, and I found the distance to road, this most distance to river, this most important parameter, then elevation, Then rain alone distance to river, it is 49.36% importance, right? These are the least important parameter. So after selecting the parameter, I have run this model in R software. You can see that this is the multi-layer perception neural network, and I have used this formula for preparing this model. You can see that the lower portion of Sikkim here, the landslide prone area, and these are the safer region. In case of neural network, K nearest neighbor, I have used this formula for K nearest neighbor in our software, and this is for get and boosting GPM, and this is boosted T, that's in BT. You can call it BT using this formula. I have run this model. If you see these statistics, this red color shows the very high and high, moderate, and this green color shows the very low and low. So if you see these statistics here, in case of boosted tree, hidden boosting machine, k-nearest neighbor, and multi-layer persistent, you can see very high here in case of boosted tree 7.32, in case of machine learning 11.17, in case of k-nearest neighbor it is 15.32, and multi-layer 1.17. So it's a very model to model. In case of high 5.94, getting boosting 8.85, then it is, see this one k-nearest neighbor 32.63, and multi-layer persistence is 36.04. So that's why we have to learn this. We check this Wilcoxon signs and test for checking the differences. Like if you see, all are like boosted T and MLP, say multi-layer perceptions. These are statistically significant. That means we found the significant difference between these two models. So we cannot consider the boosted T. We cannot consider the multi-layer perceptions for landslide modeling in this particular area. If you see here the result, in case of boosted T, high 5.94, and we got 36.04 for multi-layer perception. So there's a significant difference between these two models. So we cannot consider these two. We can consider gain boosting or k nearest neighbor, because these are not um, significant. So based on this pairwise sign and test, I can remove these two models from my final result, boosted tree and multi-layer perception. But we have checked here the ROC curve, and if you see here the based on the training data, it has yielded 96.9% accuracy, and for testing it has yielded almost 99%. So it overfitted with others. So we can consider GPM for further modeling, right? And I have prepared this confusion matrix like vision, recall, F1 score, and accuracy. You can see here also GPM yielded better because here vision 0.955, recall 0.840, here F1 score 894, and accuracy 89.4%. So we can go with the GPM method, and for GPM method, variable importance you could see DTR, that's the distance to river 43.9%, elevation 21.9, detail 8.20. These are all the important parameters, but we can remove this parameter because these are less important, like geomorphology, LOC, topographic coordinate, SPI. These are the less than 1%. So we can remove these four parameters for Sikkim region, because these are not the important parameter for landslide search resolution as per GBM method. So these are my findings, final findings. The performance of gradient boosting dominated the other, because ROC almost 100%, plus 99%, and accuracy also in case of F1 score, and accuracy 89.4%. And uh, as I mentioned, by IMSCOM sign and test, we can say that BT and NLP are significant difference. So we should remove these two parameters, right? And GPM identified 11.7% of the area as very high susceptible. So we have to focus this particular area, not as whole Sikkim, okay, for mitigation purpose. So coming to my last slide, as uh, we work toward the vision Viksit Bharat, a developed India by 2047, and our research contribute directly to these fundamental pillars of these national missions. If we see this pillar, sustainable environment and climate change, and our study directly contribute flood and landslide modeling, help mitigate disaster, enhance resilience, guide for tech adaptation strategies. The next pillar, technological advances and digital empowerment. And in this case, we have used MCDM and machine learning technique that's help technology-driven solution for disaster risk reduction and infrastructure development and urban rural integration. And our study identified risk-prone area. So we can support the safe planning, we can support the infrastructure development, we can support the vulnerable rural district like Uttar Dinajpur or northern part of southern part of Sikkim. And another pillar of Viksit Bharat, good governance and participation making. And here, by the model validation, provide a digital support tool for policymaker, contributing to transparent and data-backed disaster governance. So we can use this model for decision-making purpose. Finally, social equity and inclusion, protecting life and livelihood in disaster-prone area help reduce vulnerability among socio-economically disadvantaged people, because these people are more vulnerable, uh, basically particularly women, particularly child, particularly poor people are more vulnerable to any kind of disaster, so we can protect them. Then economic growth and risk informed development. DRR, disaster risk reduction, reduce economic losses from disaster, ensuring more sustainable and stable growth. And by achieving this, I can say that we can achieve PM 10 point agenda for disaster risk reduction. Thank you for the listening.
Thank you, Dr. Das.
If you
Thank
have
you,
any
Dr. Das,
question,
for
you can
your
ask.
enlightening presentation on geospatial innovation and disaster risk reduction. Sir, your insights have truly highlighted the critical role of geospatial technologies in shaping a resilient and sustainable future for a Viksit Bharat. So, to carry this important conversation forward, we now turn our attention to another key dimension, that is sustainable development and disaster risk reduction.
I'm having one question, ma'am, to sir.
Okay,
Yes.
so I have already told to the people
Hello.
who attended this session online if they have any questions to Dr. Das.
Yeah, I have one question, sir. Sir, thank you very much for sharing such a nice information. You have carried very nice research regarding flood modeling. So I have one question, sir. As you have used AHP method for flood modeling, uh, how this is accurate with this one short-lived localized rainfall event, especially in fresh flooding, which is the big concern in the present scenario.
Yeah, as well, it is a knowledge-based technique. So for flash flood modeling, definitely you can use SP a technique for flash flood modeling, but it is a knowledge-based technique. So we have to take the decision from the expert, okay, and after that you have to choose the accurate. I mean, selection of the parameter is most important. So when you select, uh, basically, if you find the paper, you can see most of them select the large number of parameters, but you should focus. You should use the sensitivity analysis. Based on this sensitivity analysis, you should reduce your parameter, and according to this parameter, it may be three parameter, it may be four parameter, it may be five parameter. Based on this particular important parameter, you should prepare your model again. Then definitely you can get more accuracy than using the 12 or 15 parameters. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Anyone else, if they have any question from Dr. Das?
So thank you
Okay,
everyone for listening me.
so to carry this important conversation forward, we now turn our attention to another key dimension,